Well, welcome to another live stream. Let me know if you enjoyed my little video. I did some producing today, which was a lot of fun. And just so you know, the coffee's right here. So I felt like tonight's topic needed a good cup of coffee. And again, this is my drink of choice. You guys know that I also bring in something cold. This is just a diet fizzy drink. So in my green cup tonight. And I just so appreciate those of you that join me every week. And I just can't say my appreciation enough. And if I don't make tonight exciting for you and fun for you, I give you my apology. So we're going to get actually got the back glasses out and we're going to change them. These are my reading glasses, up close, in studio glasses. And I like to put these on live. And I've been working away in the studio. I have like a lot of hours. I am doing the finishes touches on another video. It should come out in the next day or so. I finished shooting yesterday. I finished the major rough edit last night. Now I just need to watch it through and has to get through my personal criticism. So that will be on the Insta360 Link too. So that's the next video that's going to be out there, and it's a pretty big deep dive into that new camera. Again, that's the latest release, the Insta360 Link 2 from Insta360 that has a 1/1.3 chip in it. And I was kind of doing some research this week, and so just to kind of put it into perspective, this is a little micro SD card, and the chips that we're talking about are smaller than this micro SD card, just so you know. And I mean, most of us, I have a drive here. I can stick this in and read it, but I usually put them in these. But that's how small these chips are that we're talking about compared to a full frame sensor. But these webcams are getting better and better. So that video will be coming out very soon. Just want to let you guys know. It's not going to come out tonight. I was hoping to get it out tonight, but I decided to add some green screen footage in that video. So I shot again yesterday. And when I was covering where you click on the green screen, in my video, that's where I cut it in. In fact, I did that a couple times. So I'm going to be just kind of taking people through the software, and then it'll cut to a demo of how certain things work. And I don't have the time or the energy to cover all the features that are in a lot of these new webcams and the software. I try to cover some of the major things, but again, and tonight, in full disclosure, as we talk about the main topic tonight, which is going to be what happened. I shared this last week, but I'll share the story again tonight just so that everybody knows, because we are going to be unboxing this, and it needs the story to fully understand the lessons that I'm learning. And so one of the thoughts before I say hi in the chat, as I share with you where we're going, and I have a poll on here tonight just to make sure that I don't forget about it. It's sound. Should I focus more on ATEMs and not on these new products? Right now, it is 50-50. So I'm just trying to get an understanding of where you guys are coming from. So I got half of you saying, I like the fact that you're covering webcams and the RodeCaster Vido and the YoloBox Extreme, and the other half are saying get back to the ATEMs, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So, and I really respect your opinion, and this is just as much your channel, your live streams, as it is mine. I can't really have any kind of excitement to do them every week if no one wants to talk or be a part of what we're going to talk about. So as I transition back, and I shared with you guys last week that we're going to be back in ATEMs, I would like to know if there are any specific topics that you would like to talk about. Do you want me to touch base on HyperX? again? Do you want me to talk about macros? What would you like me to touch base on when it comes to the ATEMs? And again, I'm going to allude to that a little bit later. So we are going to be unboxing this protective cover that came to protect the YoloBox Extreme. So we'll get to that story after we get a chance to say hi to people in the chat. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to have the YoloBox Extreme here on my desk. I have my ATEM. Let's go ahead and hit record because I am going to ISO record tonight. And I also made sure I have my cup of coffee. And I'm going to talk about lessons that we have learned, some things that I've already learned this year as I've made a transition on my YouTube channel, and then the experience that I've already had this year with co-oping with some of these manufacturers who are sending me gear. Like the YoloLiv sent me the YoloLiv Extreme. They also sent me the YoloCam S3. And so I have to click the little box tonight that says that they actually sent that to me so that that is disclosed and it's also in the notes. There's not going to be any links. There's not going to be any Amazon associate links, nothing tonight in the notes, at least for now, because I just wanted to hone in on this topic. And many of you guys saw the still image as we were rolling in. We all have lessons to learn. And then I have a little caption there. I got a caption there from the YoloCam S3. I got a caption there from me. And I got a caption there, which is my favorite caption, from my coffee cup. And then if you guys got here early enough in the intro, and you can go back and watch it later, I actually produced a complete video of me brewing a cup of coffee in the kitchen today, because I like to be creative. And today I just needed to, I needed a break from the thoughts that I was having about tonight's stream and just create. I just needed to get the creative juices going again. And so shooting that little montage, editing it today, I did all of that today. I shot it in pretty high res, ProRes, then brought it into Adobe Premiere. I edited it, files were huge. I shot it on my phone, then I imported it into my computer using the SD card and this little dongle, lightning to SD and micro SD, talking about the micro SD card, and then transferred that into my computer and edited it today. And it's less than really 1 minute long. I put a still image on the end of tonight's live stream still. So we're going to talk about those things tonight, lessons I've learned, things I already have kind of reevaluated about relationships with manufacturers. I'm going to tell the story again tonight that I told last week, for those of you who haven't heard it, and those of you that are listening maybe for the first time, or you logged into this video and you're watching it. I hope you enjoy that. I will put chapter markers for sure tonight, so you can just skip to wherever you would like to skip to. So let's just say hi to the folks tonight. They're in the chat. So let me turn Skycams off and chat on. And let's just go back in here. Let's see. And do some highs here. So chat on the air. Things are working tonight, which is great. Grish, good to have you here tonight. Will you ever try doing a stream from the YoloBox Extreme? I would give it a try. Yeah, I'm actually, absolutely. So tonight's story will lead up to that. And so Grish, just, I'm going to answer your question. I'm just going to wait until we get to that portion of tonight's stream, because that is a great question to ask, and I will answer that very specifically tonight. Then we had Hank said hi. It's great to have Hank here from Bluffton, South Carolina. Also, Cyber Gizmo, DJ Ware, I believe. I get confused, but then again, then Hank says, Keith, all the famous celebrities I came into contact with are now dead. Oh, wow. I said earlier in a comment to Hank, I bet you have some stories to tell. I'm not seeing that here. Oh, here it is. My comment back to Hank earlier tonight because he was in waiting for the live stream to go. And so let's go. I agree. Little Skycam glitch. Yeah, had a little Skycam glitch tonight. It's good to have you, David. I love David's channel. Just really in-depth moments of reflection as he plays keyboard. I highly, highly, highly recommend David. Just a great keyboardist and artist, and rare to have an artist here on my channel. So I'm like that kind of artist that's has a channel that's all around music. That's quite a privilege, and thank you, David, for being here tonight. Of course, my good buddy, horse keeper, horse rescuer. Hello from Paris, Kentucky. And so it's great to have you here with me tonight. Again, if your name is not in one of your comments, please put it in there. I do like to protect people's anonymity, especially if they're people I know have met personally now. Good to have you, Bulls Promo TV. How about Magewell 1 or Mini or Rode stuff? Wayne from Australia. So, Wayne, that is such a great comment. I'm actually kind of fascinated with Magewell. So, if you guys are listening, I have done a video here on my channel on the ATEM that has over 100,000 views, which is the only video that's even approached that on my channel. People are searching right now for ATEM Mini tutorials. It's one of the big searches. I added that to my title yesterday because I believe as one of the listeners who watched it and made a comment that he had watched lots of ATEM videos and he had really nice things to say, and I'm honored that that helped people. And one of my biggest passions is to discern, right, what people are using. And obviously Aaron Parecki just went to China and he was live from his Magewell Saturday, which was Sunday in China this week. So usually Aaron Parecki's on in the morning on Sunday morning here in the Northwest. He lives in Portland, but from China, he was live in a different time of the day in China, and he was using the Magewell. So, you know, I'm an Aaron Parecki fan. I've learned a lot from his channel. If you haven't seen his channel, go subscribe to it. You need to be paying attention to what Aaron is having to say. He has a lot of manufacturers pursuing him, and he gets his hands on a lot of these products I don't get my hands on. I'm trying to get my hands on releases, and I've had that privilege now this year with one product, so that's pretty cool. So Rode stuff, yeah, I have the RodeCaster Vido in my studio. In fact, if I just change to HDMI 2 in my monitor here, this is the multi-view from the RodeCaster Vido, the bigger model, which I highly recommend right now as long as it stays in that $800 to $900 price range, because it retails $1,200. And with the new RodeCaster Vido Core and the new RodeCaster Vido S, and then the RodeCaster Vido that I have in my studio, they're great devices, and they have really made a difference in the industry. So we'll be talking just a little bit about that as well when I talk about some of the lessons that I've learned. So just so you know, we're definitely going to go back there. I could have gone live because I'm running my program through the RodeCaster Vido. That's my program right now. This is the Osbot Tiny 3 right here. I think, yes. And so for whatever it's worth, I will be talking more about Rode products, and I hope that gets you excited. So let's flip this back over to the other screen, and that's the multi-view of an ATEM Mini Extreme. So I stream 99% of the time from this ATEM Extreme ISO, And I have not streamed yet from the YoloBox Extreme, but I will be very soon. So, okay, let's continue down here. Grish says water. Okay, that's a good drink to have. No, it's coffee. Yeah, it is coffee. And I did a little video in the intro tonight. You guys need to make sure you watch that. Let's see. Ad played as a special video started. YouTube hates me. Yeah, I apologize for that. It's supposed to pick up where you left off once the ad's over. I don't know how that works, but Bulls promo, the gyro control on the Tail 2 remote is awesome. It turned up yesterday. So Tail 2 remote is awesome. So what remote are you using? Because there are more than one remote. I have this remote right here, and with this camera, if I get off camera, let's see if it'll focus on it. No. So this is my EOS R, and I have it set to eye detect. But anyway, I have this remote, but there are another remote that I believe goes with all the Osbot Tail products, and that's probably the remote you're talking about. So that's really cool. Hey, it's good. Thank you, David, for shouting out. Camera focus on the screen in the back. Yeah, it should be, it has been. Let's fix that. Let's cut cameras just while we do this. Let's go to this camera. Okay, that should be back focused on me, is it not? Let me look at the full screen view here. Yeah, it looks like it's in focus. That's good news. Thank you. David, good to have you. Retracted your comment there, or did it not pop up at all? I guess it won't pop up if you retract it, but I can see. But it's good to have you. Hello, Jay. It's great to have you. Let's just continue to go here. We have a crowd. So C's fine to me. Sync is good. It's good to have David Maliski in the house. I can't click on that because you retracted your comment. Doug, it's great to have you. Go over and see Doug's channel. Thank you. I did press record. Thank you for that, Hank. Let's see. Grish, I keep thinking I was watching on 480p, but the camera was just out of focus. LOL. I'm sorry. RCV finally allows Osmo Pocket 3 and most other webcams. So the RCV. Okay, that's good to know. So I will have to check on that. I do not have the Osmo Pocket 3, but I have actually been considering getting one because Shannon and I decided last week that we are going on a cruise. And that's in lieu of NAB. So I apologize. She has a break during that time, and it started on Sunday, and she only gets so many breaks a year being a midwife. And I asked her what she wanted to do. She wanted to go to Las Vegas with me, and she couldn't leave the area until right as NAB was ending. I said, well, I wouldn't want to fly down there. Without you, I would want to fly together. And so we decided to go on a cruise instead. I stole his map idea. Yeah. It's Aaron Precky's map, I believe. What monitor is that, please? I like the HDMI switching functionality. David. So this is the MSI. It actually has two HDMIs and it has a display port. And so I can just switch between them. If I click on the button in the back and I go right, I have HDMI 1, HDMI 2, and then display port. I do not have anything hooked into DisplayPort. MSI makes this monitor. It is a, I believe, a 27 inch. Yeah, it's 27 inch because I have a 32 over here. And I like the monitor. So hope that answers your question. EOS eye detect not working. Yeah, I don't think I have it on EOS and eye detect. So let me do this real quick again. Well, the challenge is the eye detect button is right behind where the HDMI goes in, and I have it so close to the wall, I can't twist the LCD screen any further. So hopefully it will stay in focus. And is it out of focus again? And let's go back to multi-view, and my monitor went to sleep. It was freaking me out. So that's not normal. Seriously, went to sleep. So, okay. So let's continue in the chat. Hopefully that is in focus. Let me look at it again. I think it is, right? Maybe not. What is going on? How about this? Looks a little better, I think. This is my 16:35, so hopefully this is not becoming a disaster area. So let me fix my chat here. Evidently, I bumped it. Okay, let's continue down here. Add during live, pick up live unless you rewind. At least that's what happens to me. Okay, so you do lose it. Chris says color temp changes since you messed with the camera. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me because I bumped it. I'm at 5.6. Let me check. I'm on auto ISO. I'm back on auto white balance, so hopefully I didn't screw up my camera. That means you shouldn't touch your camera when you're live. Good to have you, Joe. It's going good. Have some things to share tonight. David says your Osbot Tiny 3 can finally be connected directly through USB-C. So your Osbot Tiny 3 can finally be connected directly through USB-C. So is this a RodeCaster Vido firmware update that's allowing us to bring in webcams that are compressed? If that's true, that is incredible. Without the UVC adapter, I mean, cool. So again, Osbot Tiny 3 can come into the RodeCaster Vido without using it. Now, I do have it coming in tonight in the RodeCaster Vido, and I am using the UVC adapter. So maybe later tonight we'll actually play with that and see what happens. So super hot in the studio tonight. It got pretty hot outside, believe it or not. We had we call Chinook wind, and things changed around here. Firmware update. Okay, thank you. Happened last week, so good. Now it takes compressed format. I will have to take a look at that. That's really cool. Okay, so let's do this. Let's clear the desk off here. And let's cut to super source here. I set up. So now I have my desk. Here is my tiny 3 remote so I can zoom in. So I'm loving this. Again, I'm using the UVC adapter. I had to do a firmware update. And we're going to talk about that maybe tonight too, but they sent me a beta. So I don't think it's available yet. I looked on their site, but let's pull the YoloCam S3 off of the top of my YoloCam or my YoloBox, and we'll bring this over on camera. Right there. Let's zoom back out. There we go. And so I'm going to take this microphone off and use my wireless. Looks like it's a little hot. So let me know if that sounds 5x5. And so this is the new one they sent me. So if you were here last week, I shared a story where I was positioning my YoloCam S3 up over top to be a downward camera, getting ready to go live a number of weeks back, I think 3 weeks back now. And all of a sudden this fell off of the magnet because it's magnetized on. I bumped it as I was adjusting it because the 1/4 inch mount is on the magnet part and not on the camera. And one of the things I love about the Osbot Tiny 3 is on the bottom of it, it actually has a 1/4 mount where there isn't a 1/4 mount on the bottom of the Insta360 Link 2, the Link 2 Pro. You have to use their magnet mount. And I love the fact that Osbot put a 1/4 inch mount in the bottom of their Tiny 2. Thus, it's my overhead camera. That's why you're looking at this camera, not the S3 tonight or the Insta360 Link 2, which I have, Pro, which I have as well. So this little camera has a magnet attachment on that side and a magnet attachment on this side. Let's just cut back. It should hold. And then right here is where the little USB-C port is. And I was positioning this in the landscape mode and it came off. And what it did is it landed on the other YoloBox Extreme and it hit right about here. So this is the bottom of mine. So it had a spider crack. And so this $2,000 on loan device literally got taken out by this little YoloCam S3, and want to be very careful how I hold it. Came down obviously on the corner and whacked the glass. And it's one of the hard lessons that I have learned this year, that if you're going to use these as overhead cameras, you better be very selective of where you put them. Now I have a Asus ZenBook Pro Duo, the old version, about 5 years old now, and it has a smaller screen right above the keyboard. You could drop things on it, and I've had things drop before. So one of the lessons that I learned is I need a protector. And so this is the new protector. This is called the Glass Screen Pro Premium Tempered protector. And we're going to open this right now. And I don't think I'm going to try to put this on tonight, but here it is. And it's in a pouch. So this should fit on the YoloBox Extreme. So again, there's the back with all the information, so you guys kind of have a record of that tonight. And so this is supposed to be the official one sent to me directly from their team, because I asked for one that they say is adequate. And so as I lay it on here, it is shaped and it will fit perfectly. So I will be applying this safety glass to this new YoloBox Extreme. And yeah, they sent me another one. Mine is in process of getting back to their factory. It has at least a $500 repair to the glass. And so I'm not super excited that it happened. The lesson that I learned is very clear, and I hope I've learned it. I actually caught myself 3 times this week as I was doing videos, positioning things over my laptop. Last week live, I had the S3 camera over my RodeCaster Vido. So if it had come off, it could have hit my RodeCaster Vido screen. So I wasn't too happy, and I learned a lesson. And it made me really ask myself, you know, do I want to never hit the fade to black button. Do I want to, come on. Do I want to risk something that's not mine? And that is one of the conversations I wanted to have with you all tonight. What are your thoughts? This is, like I said, this is a very expensive device. You can see, if you've never seen the Extreme and you're watching tonight for the very first time, this is their top-notch product. You can see all the inputs. This will stream in 4K. In fact, 1, 2, and 3 are HDMI ports. Let's see, camera 1, 2, and 3 are HDMI ports. Then you have 4K, 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 2 HDMI outputs, network port. You can bring in 2 webcams or a USB hard drive, and then you have another USB-C port and then a charging port. And I have not even taken this out of the box except for, I mean, it did arrive last week right in the middle of our live stream. So I wanted you guys, if it came, I wanted Shannon to bring it in because I was telling that story last week. But again, I'm wondering if I should even enter into a relationship with a manufacturer because I never intended for this thing to get broken, and yet it did. So the lesson that I learned is, I guess, what would it be? Be very careful if you're going to say yes and you're going to bring, it's going back in the box, by the way, live, because I don't want it to fall down or get hit. And I mean, I had the old one in my dining room, and I did some testing on it to learn it. I had it in my studio. I had it on my desk. I mean, I had it all around, and you know the rest of the story. So it got damaged, and it made me really think about this whole relationship. Because to be honest with you, when I started my YouTube channel and actually dove into it, like I have been for 5 years now, I thought, you know, it would be really cool one day when manufacturers reach out to me and they want to send me products. And, you know, I figured that someone would just want me to review. Some may send them and say I could keep them. I didn't know what that relationship's going to be like. I'd never done it before. I talked to some other live streamers. I listened to some of the YouTube videos that I could watch that talk about that, but I didn't know what it was going to be like. So, crazy. And you can export a EDL into a editing software such as DaVinci Resolve. So what he is saying, David is saying, is that there's now a folder. You can do that with the YoloBox Extreme and the Ultra now, I think through a firmware update, so you can open up a file in DaVinci Resolve. I know to be able to use it in either Final Cut or Premiere Pro, you have to bring it into DaVinci Resolve first, and then export it from the YoloBox Extreme. So what David's saying is that now there's news that we can actually create some, again, because the RodeCaster Pro will let you ISO record. So the idea there is the ATEM Mini Pro ISO and the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO and some of the other products they have will make a folder after you ISO record, and I'm ISO recording tonight. So when I'm done ISO recording tonight, what will be on my drive is individual videos from each of the HDMI inputs, and there'll be individual audio files from every one of the audio inputs. Any graphics that I use, like this graphic, will actually be in the folder, and there'll be a folder that you can open up in DaVinci Resolve, and you already have whatever you edited. So what you guys are seeing as a program tonight will be in DaVinci Resolve, and then you can make edits. And if you record it in your cameras, 4K, if you have a bunch of Blackmagic design cameras, then you can import the 4K footage because the ATEM Extreme ISO, the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, they only record at 1080p, even though you can do high-res HyperDeck recordings, which are really, really beautiful if you do the highest recording in your ATEM Extreme ISO. I'm streaming right now in, let's see, it's called, what is it called here? It is called, what is it called? Streaming High, but you can go all the way up 3 more notches to HyperDeck High, which is the same recording that you could get in a HyperDeck if you are ISO recording. And originally that was one of the #1 reasons why people owned HyperDecks, because they could go into it with the camera, SDI, and then come out of it SDI, and then run that into a switcher, and the HyperDeck would do all the recording. Now you have products like the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, the RodeCaster Vido, the RodeCaster Vido S, the RodeCaster Vido Core. They will do individual isolated recordings, and now it sounds like it will make a file as well. So good job, Rode. And that's also true with the YoloBox Extreme, and I believe the Ultra. Again, I've never owned anything from YoloBox. I have the YoloCam S3 sent to me from them, and I also have the YoloBox Extreme on loan, #2 on loan, and I may be forking out some dough to repair the other one I broke, most likely. So are you saying that the RCV got a firmware update that now allows non-UVH webcams? And I believe, yes, that's exactly what he is saying, I believe. Hi, Grish. Yes, we was uncompressed format until last week. Now accepts compressed, such as Pocket 3 Osbot webcam. So we don't know about Insta360 yet. No one's on here saying they've tested it. So guys, I will fire up that RodeCaster and make sure we do some testing on that. And I could do that tonight, but I want to get through tonight's topic before we do that. So nice. I think Keith thought you meant the YoloBox. No, actually, I know he's not talking about the YoloBox, but the YoloBox will do the files. And now David is saying that so will the RodeCaster Vido. That means the RodeCaster Vido S and the RodeCaster Vido Core will all be able to have that same firmware update, I believe, and be able to hopefully bring in some cameras, some webcams, so you don't have to buy a UVC adapter like I did in my studio. Now, I bought it because I want to use the Osbot with the ATEM Mini Pro. I do have it plugged into the RodeCaster Vido tonight, only because I wanted to run things through the RodeCaster Vido into my ATEM so I could be showing both devices while I'm live. And I also had the YoloBox in that string. So the YoloBox had some inputs. It would go to the RodeCaster. The RodeCaster would go to the ATEM, and then I had the ability from the RodeCaster Vido to NDI out, and I could bring that NDI out in to the Osbot Extreme, which was really cool, and I could bring the Extreme NDI out into the RodeCaster Vido as well, which was quite crazy if you think about NDI. Again, I know there's latency. I understand all of that. So keep that in mind, that if you're dealing with NDI, you have some delay. So No, sorry, I meant the RCV plus recording in H.264 and H.265. Yeah, and there was some issue with H.265 with the YoloBox Extreme, so it'll be interesting to see how that does in the RodeCaster Vido. But David, thanks for keeping us up to date. And okay. So Rode hadn't mentioned the update at all, and let me know if that's a regular release or if you're playing with the beta. Now, I am demoing tonight the YoloCam S3, and again, I had to do a beta update. I wanted to show you guys this real quick. I was quite frustrated, and here's why. I went to their site before I ordered this device. You can see there's a 2 right here. So this is the UVC to HDMI version 2 adapter. It says right here, compatible with Tiny 3, Tiny 3 Lite, Tiny 4, Tiny, Tiny 2, Meet 4K, Meet Tail, Tiny 2 Lite, Meet 2, and other webcams. So one of the tails, you would use this. So evidently the original tail must be like a webcam. Who knows? But so you could use the UVC. So obviously the tail doesn't have HDMI out, or why would they mention it? So all of these do not have HDMI out already. And so if you wanted to use a webcam by Osbot and have it come into your ATEM or into your computer, obviously you wouldn't need a cam link to come into your computer if it's already a webcam. But if you wanted to bring in a regular HDMI input, you'd have to use something like the Cam Link, which converts HDMI 4K to 3.0 USB. But the webcams go in 4K. These newer webcams go into your PC 4K, but you have to bring it in from your computer. So I can bring a webcam into tonight's live stream. I would bring it in through OBS. That's exactly how I bring these cameras in. So this camera right here, which is, this is actually coming through OBS. It's my webcam. So if I change it around, you can see I can bring it around. This is the Insta360 Link, the original one above my desk. So it can, that's what I use for my Skycam. So I'm actually bringing it in. Sorry, let's try that again. So this is without it coming through the key. So this is coming directly by projecting from OBS. So I can also bring it in through my key, but it doesn't have this good a picture if I bring it in through the key. So I was quite frustrated that the UVC to HDMI adapter from Osbot version 2, which I paid about $169 for. I paid that with my own money. I expected it to work with the remote. Here is a kit with the very remote I bought. Now, I'd already ordered the remote, so I could use it with my Osbot Tiny 3 that they sent me plugged into my laptop. But I wanted to also get this UVC to HDMI adapter and use the remote as well. And you guys all know it wouldn't work. But now that I did the beta update that one of their technicians sent me, I can use the remote with this device. And again, it has a laser pointer. I can turn on tracking. I can do hand tracking right here. I could have 4 cameras, which I really like about this device. I don't know how that would work with UVC adapters, but I think it's really cool that with the RodeCaster Vido, now you may not need that adapter, but if I'm streaming from my ATEM Extreme or my ATEM Mini Pro, I would need that adapter. So then if you go over to this page, this is the Osbot UVC to HDMI adapter. This is the firmware, and they sent me a beta. The last firmware that they are saying is available that's not a beta is this one. This is V8.2.5.1. It says adapted for Osbot Meet SE and Osbot Tiny SE. So evidently this firmware helps you use those cameras. I don't know if that means it will also work with the remote. And then here, so that's the original remote. And then here is the Osbot UVC to HDMI adapter 2nd generation, which is what I bought. And this says, under the firmware version 2.0.1.12.0, updated 12/13/2023, which blew my mind. And it says Osbot upgrade software is an easy to use tool. So that's the upgrading software. And then here is the firmware, and the firmware is dated 2/10/2025, which again is before my beta version. It's version 8.0.4.1, and it says adapted for Osbot Meet SE, supports adaptive landscape, portrait, and inverted modes, compatible with Meet remote control. So I would think that that would be the remote control that I have, but again, it's confusing when you get into all of these devices they have. If we go into accessories, here is the accessories that they have, and there you go. And this is the remote, Osbot Tiny Smart Remote 2. So Tiny Smart Remote version 2. I call it the Tiny 2 remote, but anyway, it says it's compatible with the Tiny 3, which it worked perfectly fine through my PC, but I could not figure out for the life of me why this remote was not working with the UVC adapter when I felt like that's what that was saying. So I don't think I've lost my mind. Again, here it is, the Osbot UVC to HDMI adapter 2nd generation. That's what I have in my studio. So it says Osbot remote control support. So I don't get it. Firmware upgrade support, upgrade through the software. And if you click on that, that's what takes you to that software that I already showed you guys. And there is generation 1, generation 2. So I don't know. So the fact that Osbot says that this supports the Tiny 3, it doesn't say it supports the remote. So, I mean, I can't really do anything but say it was very confusing to me. But the good news is there is a beta firmware and it works perfectly fine now. But part of the reason it took me so long to do my Osbot video is because I was trying to get this thing to work. I wanted to do a video on the UVC to HDMI adapter. I felt like the Blackmagic Design ATEM people out there. And here is my ATEM Mini Pro right here that I do not have hooked up in the studio. So this is the Pro, not the ISO. But I thought that people would want to be able to use the adapter so that they could bring in a PTZ webcam that has 4K with that kind of quality and have the remote control in their studio, because I know that they do. I know that because I have friends that would love to be able to do that, and they have bought other PTZ cameras that are way more expensive than the Tiny 3 or the Tiny 2. And the Tiny 3 has the best picture, obviously, because it's got the biggest sensor. So, and then those of you who think I'm not serious, there's 2 on my desk about Blackmagic Design ATEM Extreme ISOs. There's 2 on my desk and 1 in a box. This is my original one that I was using that I would have been streaming from. I was having issues with it stopping recording. I'm still recording tonight. So I bought a used one, which is what you guys are seeing the stream from tonight, and replaced this one, copied the labels, and this one went in my box. I want to do some testing because I think this is fine. I think it was one of the drives I was using was just getting overloaded or heating up, and it was just shutting off. It seems to work fine, ISO recording, but shut off after an hour and a half if it's not ISO recording. So I didn't think it was a heat issue. I really thought it was an extreme issue. But I don't think it was Blackmagic Design at all. I think it really was a SSD drive issue. But so I have 3 of these puppies, and it's a big investment to buy one of these ATEMs and to be able to have a couple cameras. And if you could actually, using those UVC adapters, and to actually be able to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 different cameras with this remote would be really cool. So you can put them to sleep with this remote. You can wake them up with this remote. And I would think that if they are all in individual UVC adapters, that this remote would be able to see them as 1, 2, 3, and 4. I know you can bring 4 webcams in to the software, but I don't know. So that's it on that. So if you have any comments or questions about those 2 devices, I just really wanted to let everybody know that there is a firmware update, a beta that you can request through the Osbot technical support team, and you should be able to get a regular non-beta version sometime soon. This video was recorded on March 17, 2026. So hopefully that beta is going to go live pretty soon so that we can all use it and use the remote control with it. Now, the way it works is you have a power port, you have a USB-C port, and you have a USB-A port, and that's where you put the little USB dongle in there. And that USB dongle connects then to the Osbot Tiny Tiny Remote 2, version 2, and it should work perfectly fine now, as mine did after I did the firmware update. And again, you're going to go to this software. You're going to download this software right here. And you're going to open that software after you download the UVC firmware. Now, if you have the software and you have the USB-C cable plugged into your PC or your Macintosh instead of your camera, so that UVC adapter is now plugged into your computer, it should automatically detect the UVC adapter when you open up this software and see it and let you know there's a new firmware update. But even if it doesn't, you can download the firmware like you would for a beta, and then there is a manual button, and the manual button will ask you where the new firmware is at. You just locate it on your computer, and then it will update the UVC adapter after a few minutes, reboot it, and that's what I did. So the software for doing those updates for the UVC adapter is right here. So again, you can see they have it for USB-C to NDI version 1. They have it for Osbot Vox, Osbot Vox SE, and Osbot wireless multicam connector. And again, that's one of the accessories. I don't have that. But in accessories as well, I wanted to say this tonight before I forget because it excites me. They have a Osbot UVC to NDI adapter too. So if you want to convert your device to NDI, this should work with the remote control as well. I don't have one. It's $299. So the UVC to HDMI is $169. And to buy the this adapter, now that may be because it already comes with a license. I'll have to read the fine print. And the license is $100, so that would make sense that it goes up from $169 to $299. But $300, you can have a adapter that converts your Tiny 3 to a NDI camera, or you could buy the new Tail Air 3, which is quite a bit more money, over $1,000, and it has NDI built into it. So again, lessons that I've learned, that when these manufacturers send you these products, especially in their original release series, this is one of the lessons, so I want to share with you guys tonight, and then I'll get back in the chat, was that I had no clue how many firmwares and updates there was going to be, and that they would send me all these links, and they would say in the links that they send me and the emails, at least my experience with these specific companies, Insta360, Osbot, and YoloLiv, And again, shout out to YoloLiv. They've been just so gracious. They haven't officially asked me to fix the screen yet or replace it. They didn't make me send it to China after we found out what the postage is. They had me send it to their repair facility, not repair facility, but their return facility in the United States, and then they're going to send it off, probably already on its way to China because it's already arrived clear across the United States. And so they will repair it. I might get a bill. I don't know. Doesn't make any difference. I'm more than happy to pay for it. I did the damage, but they've been so gracious and so kind and so patient. But they even had firmware updates. They made changes. So the YoloBox Extreme, which came about the same time as the YoloCam S3 a few weeks later, they all had all these updates. So as I was shooting videos, as I agreed to do if I liked the product, and I did, I liked all of those products, every time I would get a video shot, like in the first couple weeks, and next week we start shooting again, there would be a firmware update or a software update. So it was literally driving me crazy. Oops, sorry about that. So for whatever it's worth, it was shocking to me that part of the relationship with an early release product, and we've all experienced that with the original ATEM Mini that was released. Blackmagic Design has done lots of updates to their software, firmware updates. And they've made some, Blackmagic Design has made some great firmware updates, like the USB-C ports out of the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, the Extreme ISO, Extreme SDI of both models. Now you can send more than just the program out of your USB-C port. And that solves a lot of problem for people that own an ATEM Mini Pro or Mini Pro ISO or Mini Pro SDI ISO, because you can only do multi-view. You only have one HDMI port. The SDI has two, I apologize. But the HDMI versions only have one HDMI port. Now you can actually open up multi-view inside OBS or inside Zoom, and then you could have the other HDMI going to a monitor as a confidence monitor in your studio. So because of that USB-C update that Blackmagic Design did in their software and their firmware update over a year and a half or 2 years ago, maybe longer, it really changed the game, and that's an exciting update. So I'm not complaining about firmware updates. I'm not complaining about the making major important changes, especially things that I was suggesting and other people were suggesting as they were getting these cameras and getting the YoloBox Extreme, which was announced last year, what conference was it they announced it originally? I think it was in January of 2025 that YoloLiv announced the Extreme, and then it was at NAB in Las Vegas, and they flew around and showed people that device, and then they started shipping not long after that. They've made many updates. They've even sent me a couple updates, and I haven't even updated the one that came in the box yet. So who knows? There may be another update. So I'm not going to talk about that anymore. I just wanted to say one of the lessons I learned is that it's a moving object. So if you have 2 or 3 of these devices as a YouTuber, at the same time, and they're all releasing them early 2027, maybe for you, or 2028, and you say yes, keep in mind that these things are changing, and you could have a video come out a week after you get the product, and now there's 2 other important updates. Like, I haven't done my RodeCaster video yet, my RodeCaster getting started, or my RodeCaster tutorial video yet. And so now, guess what? Tonight we hear that there's been a major firmware update. And so now you can bring in webcams that you couldn't bring in before. So for me, that's great. My timing's great. I bought the RodeCaster Vido. I tabled that video because I had these other ones I was committed to do if I liked the product. And that was what I said to every one of these manufacturers. I'm not committing to make any videos, with exception with the Extreme. I said I'll bring it on my live stream and I'll go through all the features that I can learn in a period of time. And then I will do it. If everybody likes it and I like it, then I will then do a video on it. And I've since then done that. But I didn't make any promises to these manufacturers. And I said I'll send the camera back and I'll pay for the postage if you don't want me to keep it and you're not happy with my videos, because I didn't want to get into any weird relationships. But I got into a weird one when I broke the Extreme, and it wasn't YoloLiv's fault, it was my fault. And so not only did I have a $2,000 device in my studio that was now broken, it would not turn on, would not work, and it needed to be disclosed to them, and it needed to be repaired, then now I can't continue to do the live streams that I wanted to do. So those of you that asked me questions like earlier tonight, why have I not streamed? Let's see if I can find that, because in all fairness, I promised to answer this question. So let me go through here. Will you ever try doing a YoloBox Extreme live stream? I was planning on to do it the very day I broke it. So I had positioned the S3 camera, YoloCam S3 over it, which everybody loved that picture. I hadn't got the Osbot Tiny 3. So all my feedback was, we love the picture, we love the picture. So that was going to be my overhead camera. Little did I know that that was going to break the YoloBox Extreme. That was going to keep me from going live that night, because when I went to turn it on and set it up 2.5 hours before my live stream, it just flickered and would not turn on. And when I started playing with it and exploring it, I had no clue that it broke. I saw this little spider crack, and it shocked me. Like it was like lightning hitting me in the chest, because I realized not only am I not going to be go live for my channel that night, I can't tell anybody what happened because I haven't told YoloLiv yet. So that was one of those days. So what was the lesson that I learned is that you never know what's going to happen, and you never know how it's going to hit you. But when you are a live streamer and when you're a YouTuber and you have these relationships, I just wanted you guys to know there are things going on behind the scenes that you may not know about, and we may be a reason why we haven't streamed from one of these devices for a number of reasons. So anyway, I also knew that according to Photo Joseph that he was having trouble streaming H.265, and so he had to change back to 8.264. I think Aaron Parecki had the same issue. I knew YoloLiv was working on that, and I was kind of wanting to wait until they got some of those bugs worked out, because I didn't really want to deal with those bugs live, as you guys can understand, I'm sure. So let me catch up here in the chat. I want to try the Insta360 and see if that works with the RCV. Do you know video format that has? I don't know. I'm sorry, David, just Google that. I have a tiny, I have one this is the Insta360 Link version 1 right here on my desk. I haven't done the firmware update, so I can't test it for you. I need to do the firmware update off camera, and then maybe next Tuesday I can show you guys what works and what doesn't work, if that's something you guys want me to do. Again, I asked you guys to answer the poll tonight, and David and class tonight, it says, should I focus more on ATEMs and not on these new products? 19 votes, 53% of you now are saying yes, you want me to focus more on the ATEMs and less on these other webcams and the YoloBox Extreme, and 47 of you out of 19, 47% of you out of 19 are saying that you should. Well, there's 20 votes now, and 55% of you now are saying that I should focus on the ATEMs, and 45%. So I know. Why did I ask the question in the first place? So you could be frustrated if you are a yes, and you could be frustrated as you know. Just know this in your frustration. Sometimes coffee will calm you down. And some of you may be drinking something stronger than that. No, my point is, no, I care. I'm not asking these questions because they don't mean something to me. So in my little world, however you perceive me, if you have me on some kind of pedestal, or you've met me and you tolerate my craziness and my rants, whatever it is, whatever your feelings and emotion is, you are more than blessed by me to have them. That's what makes this whole relationship on YouTube Live just a ride, something fun. is that everybody has their opinion, and I value it very highly, and I am honored that you guys come hang out with me. Is your SD on the Blackmagic tested list? A lot of QLC, and after recording for an hour or so, can randomly fall to fill the right. No, it's not. So it's the Samsung. I'll show you one. And I've had people on my live stream say some of them work, some of them don't, that they're using them. I have tons of these. I haven't tried any of the ones on their list. I will be testing that ATEM Extreme ISO that I took out of my studio and put in the box. I 100% guarantee you I'm going to buy, I've set aside the money, a recommended drive to do the testing. And I will A/B test them with my drives and a drive that they're saying is one that works. So good to have you, Kilobyte 808. Don't recognize that name, but again, it's perfect segue. I want to talk about this, but I'm going to catch up on the chat first. This came in the mail today. Again, my auto ISO is auto ISOing. But so here, I'll put it next to my face. This sucker came in the mail today. And again, lessons learned. This is on our list tonight. So it has been an hour and I'm not done. I'm not even close. So stay with me. Happy Tuesday to you too. So I'm honored that you're here with me. I hope that you find content here on my channel that makes you want to hang out with us. Grish is actually ranking the highest. I voted no since I look at the other cool video stuff. I voted no. Okay. Well, now Grish has let the cat out of the bag. We know who one of those 45% people are. I use a LAN to connect Streaming Bridge, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, and laptop so that I can stream and record. Every time I press record, the stream freezes. So obviously, highlight GAM Media or GA Media. Welcome tonight. This is a valid concern. So I use a LAN, right? And those of you that are on my channel, the Tonys and the Joes and the TVJs are the experts, and the DJ Wares are the experts, and there's other experts here tonight. I am not an expert. I got to tell you, yesterday I spent 2 hours trying to fix a connection between my wife's Minolta, or I think it's a Minolta, is it, printer, to scan to her PC. And every time I do firmware updates on my wireless in my studio, then it disconnects, and I have to get help because I'm not that smart when it comes to networks. And I have a good quality network here. So I would say if you are going from connect the Streaming Bridge, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, and laptops so that I can stream and record. Every time I press record, the stream freezes. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, and it is the scan disk ones. I don't have an answer for that. I just know this, that when I use my Streaming Bridge in my studio, I plug it into one of my network switches through a network cable. And I have a number of different switches. I have some high-end switches in my house, and then I have, because I got cheap, I have some not so high-end, which I probably shouldn't be using, but I do. And it seems to work every time. Occasionally there's some drop frames, but I plug that in another part of my house. I usually have my ATEM Mini Pro there, and I stream from the ATEM Mini Pro into this studio, into my Streaming Bridge, and I bring my Streaming Bridge into my ATEM here in the studio. And I have videos here on my channel that works fine. Obviously, you have to, the ATEM has to know the address to the Streaming Bridge, and the Streaming Bridge, when you plug it into your PC or your Mac and you go into the Streaming Bridge control software, which is the same software, if I remember right, as a regular ATEM, then once it sees it and you open it up, it gives you the information. You can set a password, and then you have to go into your streaming software, and I can show you guys this because I have two ATEMs in here. So let's do this first. Let me go over here real quickly and log into a different ATEM. I use two extreme ISOs in my studio so I can have multiple channels. So here is my ATEM Extreme ISO number 2, and it actually is bringing in signals into my live stream tonight. I use the two HDMI outs coming out of, well, you guys aren't seeing it, so apologize. Again, here it is. So let's take that chat off the screen here real quick. So this is number 2, and it brings in inputs through the outputs. So port 1 is sending my camera 3, which is to my right, which I rarely cut to, but it shows my desk. I'll cut to it just to prove that it's there. So that's this camera, and it shows off my desk, and people seem to like that shot. And then output number 2 right here brings in my Mark IV, which isn't my Mark IV right now. This is actually, now I'm using that port for my RodeCaster Vido. So my HDMI out of my RodeCaster Vido is coming in here, and I can show you that. That's this port right here, and I can prove it by cutting. Let's cut to a scene that's working here. Here's a scene. Any of these actually working. So these are scenes from my RodeCaster Vido. You can see my lips are off, so I can bring those in, but I'm using it to bring in my Tiny 3 camera into tonight's live stream. So back to me and my laptop. So, and then again, we talked about this earlier, the webcam out, the USB-C out now can send any one of these inputs. So that means I have 3 outputs coming out of an Extreme now. And if it's an ATEM Mini Pro, which I can't show you because it's not hooked up, but if I was to open this up and show you the ATEM Mini Pro, it has a few options, not one, but it has 3 options. I think program, clean out, and I think multi-view are the 3 options in an ATEM Mini Pro. But if you own an ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, the HDMI out, another reason why to buy one, gives you all of these options. So all of these could go into OBS and then be displayed on a screen hooked up to your PC, which could be a huge help for a venue to be able to send a different output to a big screen inside the building. So you could use OBS to project, or you could even use other software that's available. But so this is my Extreme ISO, and if I go to outputs and I go right here to platform, you can see I have my streaming bridge as one of the options, because as long as it's plugged into my network, it can be seen. And then I have to put in the password. So if I want to stream directly to it, so I have to choose it. And then once I choose it and put in the password, I choose what I want to stream at, which is streaming high. And I told you guys earlier, you can go all the way up to HyperDeck high in an ATEM Extreme or an ATEM Mini Pro ISO or Mini Pro. And if you record in this format, I guarantee a HyperDeck high is a lot less compressed and a lot better looking 1080p video than if you do streaming high, or worst case scenario, streaming low, if you're going to record a video in your studio and then edit it and upload it. So again, and whatever you set this at, I think it ISO records at that, but I can't remember if that's true or not. So you can go to your streaming bridge and then you hit on air, and now it's sending the signal to your streaming bridge. And your streaming bridge has an HDMI out. I have a video here on my channel. And that HDMI out could be brought into a RodeCaster Vido, could be brought into any other device. That HDMI out is compatible with any kind of switcher. So you could use an ATEM Mini Pro, buy it really cheap, a streaming bridge, and you could then be able to send any camera through the ATEM, through the broadcast to the streaming bridge and then bring it in. So if you were at a venue and you needed to have a conference monitor clear across the building and you had a network, you could put a streaming bridge behind the conference monitor or the big monitor in the other part of the building, plug it into your network, and then take an ATEM Mini Pro, buy one of those used, go to another room in the building, plug a output from your Extreme into the ATEM Mini Pro, have the ATEM Mini Pro stream directly to the streaming bridge because it can only broadcast to one place. So you're not going to be able to go live from that ATEM Mini Pro, but you can go directly to the streaming bridge and then continue to stream through a 2ME or a 4ME or a 8K or a web presenter 4K. And you could be using a streaming bridge and an ATEM Mini Pro as a way to send a signal through your network. So I do not know why it's not working. It could be your network. The way to test it would be go buy yourself a really inexpensive switch from Best Buy, hook your ATEM to that switch, hook your laptop to that switch, hook your streaming bridge to that switch, and then try to stream from the ATEM Mini Pro to the streaming bridge and see if that works. It could be something going on inside your network, or your network for some reason could be blocking streaming to the streaming bridge. There could be a number of reasons why. So, okay, enough time on that. Kilobyte, Ernest Alt channel. Okay. Highlight GMA media. HybridX issue, maybe. Could be. All good. I appreciate the videos you provide. You're welcome. The Tony Cam. Yes, we've talked about the Tony Cam. So I nicknamed this the Tony Cam. And because I have my Elgato lights, I actually have a setting for this. So this is the setting that I would use. And I can go to this microphone. And so I could actually shoot the rest of tonight's video from this view, because this comes in to my Extreme number 2, and it comes out of my Extreme number 2 into my Extreme number 1. And I don't know if there's lip delay, so let me know if there's lip sync issues right now, because that could happen. Running this camera into my Extreme number 2 and from my Extreme number 2 into Extreme number 1, I should have this in channel 1, and I should be coming through the clean out. So it bypasses some of the latency inside. And so I teach this stuff, but here I am not even learning from my own lessons, which is totally tonight's conversation. Okay, I'm gonna stop a minute for a second. No delay or barely noticeable. What? Thank you. And that was highlight. Okay, so I'm turning 65 in June. This auto ISO is driving me crazy. And so if you know anything about growing old, one of the things, like one of the lessons you have to learn when you get older, you know, I don't think most parents don't sit you down before they pass on or before you turn 65 and teach you about Medicare. But what happens in the United States of America is you're automatically signed up for Plan and I'm learning, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. Plan A and Plan B. And they go up to like G, I think. So this came in the mail today. I am gonna have to read it. I do need to learn, lessons I need to learn. We're part of a co-op as a family here in my house, and they offer a senior plan. So everything that A won't cover and everything B doesn't cover, they offer a plan. That's probably the way Shannon and I are gonna go. I also have an insurance agent that informed me last week when we were having a follow-up interview. We moved all our insurance from one agent in this company to another agent that for a number of reasons. And I met with that agent and they told me that their agency, which I believe is Farmers, I may be wrong, I apologize, Cecilia, if you're watching, but they offer a program as well for older folks like me. So the good news is I can get matinee prices at the theater every time I go, if it's a matinee or not. Ha ha ha. I can also get discount omelets at Denny's, but I noticed that if it's a discount 55 or older, because that's when they do it, you don't have to be 65 or 60 at Denny's. It's a 2-egg omelet, not a 3-egg omelet. And, you know, I'm a big boy and I like to eat, so that kind of offends me. But in all fairness, thank you, Denny's, and everybody else that I just mentioned for your senior menus, because I highly appreciate it. So I'm learning lessons in life about having a YouTube channel. I'm learning lessons in life about being a grandfather. I'm learning lessons in life about turning 65. I'm learning, Shannon and I have been learning lessons about getting out of debt. And again, when you get this age, things change, and coffee tastes even better on days like today. So if there's a lesson that you guys have learned this year, either about your ATEM, your YoloBox, your RodeCaster Vido S, and or your channel, and you would like to share that in my chat, I would be honored if you want to wait and send me a message in this video later. If you have my email and you have a story to tell me, then you can use that. And I try to share this every week now because I am semi-retired and I spend part of my free time now with my company and Life Journey Productions. And this is my webpage. It's lifejourneyproductions.com. Again, so life with an S, because it's life's apostrophe S, Journey Productions, but you can't put the apostrophe in your web domain. So it's just life's with an S, Journey Productions with an S.com. And I have a contact page. So if you'd like to be a part of our annual, again, I promised I wouldn't put this link in here tonight, so I'm not going to. This is going to be a link-free live stream. Just my description below, some chapter markers later. So you can put your name and first name and last name and your email in here. And if you'd like to have a free 1-hour consult, that's literally you and I on Zoom for 1 hour. If you've never used it, it's one per person. And you have something you want to share with me, or you have a question you want to ask. You want to ask me in that hour to test some equipment I have because you have a question before you buy it. Sky's the limit. And then if you would like to have help with your studio, I have some programs that I'd be happy to share you there. But trust me, it's not a trap. There's no presentation. If you don't ask me about my consulting plans, I don't talk about it. It literally is an hour to help you because I generally have been stuck before. I am stuck right now with my wife's scanning from her. She's a midwife, so it's super important for her to be able to scan documents to her computer and email specific things that are being requested. That the fax works fine, it prints fine, so it's a big deal. And so I've been stuck many times, and the lesson that I'm learning in that is that sometimes we have to help each other, and you might have the knowledge that I don't have, and that's part of what this channel is about, and I hope you guys appreciate that. So any lessons for 29-year-old in this similar field? Lessons, clarify, lessons about going on YouTube or live streaming, please clarify, and I will definitely address that before we get off the air tonight. Happy early birthday, thank you very much. And it was not a plot to be able to promote my birthday. It's telling you that I will officially be 65, and in the United States of America, you are automatically having to deal with Medicare, Medicaid, and you have decisions that you have to make. And if you don't make them, then everything that you could have signed up for costs more. And so you need to get going. And I am very thankful. This is the official guide. It says right on official U.S. government Medicare handbook. So not Medicaid, but Medicare is what I'm talking about tonight. Medicaid is another topic altogether. But thank you. I appreciate the early birthday wishes. So why a cruise instead of NAB? There's two versions of me. There's a version that wants to go to NAB and a version that doesn't. The version that wants to go to NB is I'm super excited, like many of you guys are. I just love to be there. I'd love to see the tech. I'd love to see Aaron Precking, some of these people. I mean, it would be a highlight. But the other version of me knows that I would take a camera, I would take something, and I'd shoot video. I would want to do interviews. I'd have hours upon hours of footage and video to edit because I'm a YouTuber and I have this channel. And that right now, with everything that's going on in my world and the products I already have in my studio, that I have videos I need to do on the RodeCaster Vido. And just so you know, I think I only did 7 uploaded videos last year. And I've already done, I think, 4 or 5 this year. I know I've done 3 for sure. I'll have to look to see if I've done more. I have 1 releasing. I have a series on the RodeCaster Vido I'm going to do for sure. I have a follow-up video I want to do on the YoloBox Extreme. I have a UVC Osbot video I want to do. So I'm going to probably do, I'm on pace to do 3 times as many videos in 2026 than I've ever done before, because I just want to do videos on these things because I believe there's people out right now making decisions if they're going to buy them or not. So I'm learning to try and be okay with gradual growth over time. Thank you so much. I need to learn that as well. Can't happen overnight. Ads and success has its own definitions for everyone. Learning to understand what my own is versus social media expectations. Yeah, so on that topic, I appreciate that so much. Love to have a name attached to your channel handle so I could address you by your first name. But I'll just say this. I didn't get into YouTube for any other main reason than to help people out with the technology that I struggled with prior to and during, let's just say, a season we had in our world where a lot of people got sick, and it seemed to affect just about everybody around the world. And so I started live streaming during that time. I was only doing it on Facebook. It had nothing to do with technology, though I was using technology. I had a Canon 5D Mark III. I had a Cam Link 4K. I had the laptop that I have currently. I bought this SM7B. I bought a RodeCaster Pro version 1. I'm now using a RodeCaster Pro version 2, and I have 2 of them. So I have a RodeCaster Pro version 1 and 2 RodeCaster Pro version 2s because I like to take the other one remotely with me when I need some good audio, and I'm going to have more than one person that I need to interview. And I've actually done it for friends as well too. So, but I never really wanted to focus on growing my channel, though. If you have a channel, full confession, full disclosure, and you're looking at what people are liking and disliking, and you're answering the comments, it kind of drives you. It's no different than every relationship. And I recently heard a good, wise friend, and I'll share this wisdom with you, that most life really happens inside, what was the phrase? It wasn't, it was connections, like people connections, like not AI connections, right? Not a piece of tech, not staring at a screen or flipping on an iPhone, connecting with other humans. It's vital, like it's super important. And when you are connected through a family member or a business relationship, someone you work with, maybe someone you hunt with, maybe someone who's just a lifelong friend from school, maybe you played sports or you're involved in something that's made you connect with people and you hang out with them. Every one of those relationships will impact you. And there's lessons that you learn, and it can move your direction. It could draw you out on a Saturday because someone says, hey man, I just got my new Harley, come over to my house, and you're excited and you go there, and they may even influence you to buy a bike, or they may influence you to start live streaming. I don't know, but not to be connected is very dangerous, and a lot of people learned that the hard way during this season in our life. And so I was streaming specifically talking to people that I had known from my earlier life, invited them to my Facebook page, and I was talking specifically to them and trying to stay connected through a live weekly stream. And then after that year was done and I felt like we were coming out of the other side of that, and it was time for us to reconnect with people face to face, and I was starting to meet with my friends again. I was starting to go have coffees with people and go lunch with people. I thought, well, the purpose of that live stream is over. So after a year, I stopped, I took a break, and I asked myself, do I ever do it again? I was excited about the tech. I had lots of things to share. By then I had an ATEM Mini Pro, and I knew my wife, I wanted my wife and I to do a podcast together. So I worked on her podcast during that break, and we launched it, which was audio and video, called More About Birth, because my wife is a midwife. And I told her, I go, you have an opportunity now to help other parents out there, people having babies, and they may want to know what having a birth out of a hospital or having a midwife in the hospital or whatever, they may want to know more about that. And you have so much knowledge. It would be great for me to have you share it. And that's why we bought our first RodeCaster Pro, and we bought 4 microphones. I bought this for my live stream, and I would borrow it for my live stream and then use it for her podcast. And then eventually I bought a RodeCaster Pro 2 for her podcast, and I put it in this studio, and we did all the recording of her podcast right here. And I share that story to say that my passion for her and my encouraging her and trying to get her voice heard kind of reignited my heart to help other people that wanted to have their voice heard. They had something to share. They had something to tell. They had this knowledge that they wanted to make available, because we live in a world now that you can communicate with people in Australia and Europe and South America and United States and Canada and the UK, Australia. And it's just, I mean, it blows my mind that I get a chance to talk to people face to face every Tuesday, and they watch my videos, and they're around the world, and that they actually care about anything that I would say, and I hope that I'm helping them. So pretty crazy. Ron Carson, journalist. Great to have you, Ron. Thank you for sharing your name. I am honored. Journalist, that is really cool. I'd love to meet you in a Zoom call, because I'm sure you have some great stories. I don't have any friends. I've worked with journalists before, like TV stations. I've been in TV stations. I've done remotes with TV stations. I represented Blue Dog RV as a content manager and handled all of the television and radio at every event, clear across 12 locations. So, but I was always the liaison between the world of television and commercials and all of that. And I know journalism is not the same lane, but very similar, because journalists obviously are out getting the stories. So I'm honored to have you in tonight's live stream. Thank you, Ron, for sharing your name. That's cool. Welcome to our little group here. So it's been an hour and a half. I do not want to waste your all's time. I want to look around here. We talked about the glass cover. I'm going to put that on, and I will videotape that. It's going to be a short here on my channel this week. I'm going to finish my video on the Insta360 Link 2 Pro. I have to decide. There's one more feature that caught my attention this morning as I was thinking about finishing that video. So do I do another quick recording tomorrow morning, cameo on that after a 9:30 appointment that I have, Washington time? And I did look it up. It's in my still image, tiny up in the corner. I can't quite see it. Let me go full screen here. We are on Pacific Daylight Time, because someone brought that up last week, that they thought that I was on Pacific Daylight Time. Look at, I go on and on forever. So that's scary for me and you guys. So again, we're on Pacific Daylight Time. So Pacific Daylight Time tomorrow after I get done with that 9:30 appointment, I need to make a decision if I'm going to do that. I really want people to be able to know what these cameras can do. And so many of the videos that I found on YouTube don't cover those issues. And the manufacturers are screaming, not in a negative way, but they're asking, you know, they're thinking, wow, we did this. We think it separates us from the competition. Why is no one showing this feature, right? So I'm trying to, my videos, I'm trying to demo those features so that I know them really well. But there's so many right now in some of these cameras, like the Insta360 Link 2. The software is not super complicated, but don't underestimate the lack of complication with the software to the lack of features. So I'm quite surprised. Good to have you, Tony. Tony's always here a little bit late because he's got commitments, but I'm absolutely honored. Tony, if there's any one specific lesson that you've learned this year about your channel, those of you that don't know, Tony at Quick Tech Solutions was hosting and live streaming, has a 2ME in his studio, a sports show called, what was it? Something rhymes with sports. You can put it in the chat, Tony. And talked a little bit about possibly doing it again, but it's on pause, but it really stretched him last year. So I would be fascinated, Tony, if there's any lessons that you've learned today that you, or this year, or 2026, or even last year, that you'd like to share with us, or even just share with me. Glenn B3972, finding and meeting those who build products is always worth the effort. It comes down to being inspired by those with like minds. The energy grows, thought like branches with no leaves. So I think you're alluding to, I'm assuming it's Glenn. So Glenn, I'm gonna guess. I'm assuming you're talking about NAB or any of these like trade shows. And again, don't get me wrong, I am going on a cruise and I'm leaving that Friday, and we get on the boat that Saturday, and NAB is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We are flying to a different city, not Las Vegas. So I'm not going to be able to do NAB this year, and I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to make that decision. And though I love your guys' input, love to hear it, and I absolutely agree with you. The fact that I could be by Frank or maybe possibly be in the same room with Adam Tao. I don't think Adam Tao for sure is going to NAB. I think Aaron Preki is. I'd love to just go up and shake Aaron's hand and face-to-face say thank you. I was a part of a group of people that sent him videos last year. I think my video was in that stream. So he knows my face and he knows my heart and he knows how much I appreciate him. And I try to attend as many of his live streams as I can. But again, meeting some of these other collaborators, these other streamers would be a great privilege for me to meet them face-to-face, as well as any of those of you that I've seen here in the chat, or maybe have already met you on a Zoom call. Also, I do a town hall every quarter. What is the town hall? We open up a Zoom meeting after a live stream. We cut it short. About 20 minutes ago, we would be joining a Zoom call together. Anybody can attend. You just have to go to that website again and use this form. And I don't lose these emails, so if you send me a note here, it stays in my queue. So when I'm getting ready to go do a Zoom town hall, I'll go through those. And if the note down here, the type message says, invite me to town hall or town hall, you'll get an invite with the link and a note of when it's going to be. And they're once a quarter. And the purpose of that is, again, this is under lifejourneyproductions.com. Life has an S at the end. Journey does not. Productions has an S.com. And then on the top, there is home, welcome, about, service, blog, and contact page. And it also kind of shows you my website. Here's a link to all of my videos, I believe. Right down here in the middle of the homepage. So all of the videos that I've done, I think I've put links to everyone. So it's an easier way to go through time and see the videos I've produced in sequence, because YouTube's a little confusing about that. Some of them are in playlists. All of these are just in one long row. Occasionally I might get one out of order because I forgot to put the link in there and I do it later. But this is kind of the history of my channel since I did my webpage. So if you just go over to the contact page, you can ask for a free Zoom consult if you've never had one right here. I just need name and email. I don't need a phone number. And then right here you would say free consult and why. Like, what do you want to cover if we have that meeting? Because when I reach out to you, I'd like to be able to ask you some specific questions so you don't get me wasting your hour. So, and it's a 1 hour Zoom meeting. Sometimes it goes longer, but you'll get an hour of actually answering your questions in that meeting. And if I talk about something else, or I want to ask you questions about getting acquainted, then I do not dock you for that time. So take advantage of it if you haven't yet. Swartz Talking Sports is the live stream that Tony, or actually I believe it was a live stream that Tony was doing and hosting it and doing the broadcast work for. And I can only imagine the lessons that Tony learned doing that. So Tony says, lesson learned, try to be authentic. Don't worry about others. Communicate honestly. He communicates honestly with his audience. And finally, not to take myself too seriously at this point in my life. Good to have you, David. Anytime, early or late. My wife, David, was actually looking at plane fare to Alaska, and she thought she found some plane fare to Alaska for $175, but it wasn't to Alaska. It was to someplace else. And she looked at me and says, I said, let's go. Maybe I could go see David. I was super excited. And then poof, my bubble went. I was really excited that I might be able to come to Australia and see David and maybe go see Blackmagic Design and Rode in Australia. So for you guys from Australia or watching from Australia, man, you are blessed. And I'm sure not all of you are close to those locations, those plants, but David, you should go to Rode and go to Blackmagic Design if you haven't been there. David's been traveling around Australia at his trailer. Shannon and I bought a trailer last year. Her mother passed away. Shannon was the executor. She said that she wanted to take some of her inheritance and buy a travel trailer and go camping. And I said, okay, whatever, baby. So we bought a truck, we bought a trailer, and shortly before that, or right after that, David also started traveling, and he's got some great videos over there on his channel. I think it's David Osler's channel. So David, if it's not, let us know, but I'll show you around. Yeah, it would be so cool. Originally, David had a channel about photography. He's a great photographer. Great wisdom. I loved watching his videos. I found him long before the travel trailer, and I don't know. I consider David and many of you guys now friends because of spending this time together. So connecting, learning that lesson, and picking those connections very carefully. Not to say that you shouldn't reject people. I don't believe in canceling people. I believe in healthy boundaries. I believe that family should come first and marriage should be the first thing in all of those things. Those are just my personal beliefs because I am married. I have been married for almost 44 years. Our anniversary is the day after my birthday because I never wanted to forget it. Advice to those of you out there that haven't been married yet: if you do get married, do it the day before or day after your birthday. Do not do it on your birthday because the marriage needs to be the focus. Do it the day before or day after, and then be more excited about the anniversary than you are your birthday. Lessons learned. Shannon's great. And amazing, and I'm so blessed to have her as a partner and that she supports me doing this channel. And on Tuesdays when I'm preparing for a live stream, which is pretty much all day for me, my wife is busy working in the midwifery world, which is basically a midwife is someone that helps women have babies. A lot of those births are happening at home. So on a side note, before we get off the air tonight, I wanted to say that I am celebrating a new granddaughter. My granddaughter was born on Sunday, no, let's see, the 15th. I'm forgetting. So let's see, the grandkids. Yeah. So this weekend. And so I'm very, very blessed that my daughter has brought another grandbaby into my life. What have I missed? David, lots of things. Tonight we've been talking about lessons we've learned. I have a screen protector that's going to cover my latest YoloBox Extreme, which is right here, which I have not turned on. I charged it, but I have not turned it on because I'm not going to touch this puppy until there is a glass screen protector. The screen protector arrived yesterday afternoon in my mailbox. I got it out of my mailbox today, and we unboxed it tonight, and I'm going to put this on and do a short video. Because I broke the last one. I told that story earlier tonight. I also told it last week. So I had a YoloCam S3 come off the magnet mount and fall off and bounce to the floor. And I came to find out the night I was going to stream the very first time from the YoloBox Extreme, which I had on loan. When I went to turn it on to set everything up so that I could go live, literally, it flickered and I had broke it. So if you haven't heard that story, it's a sad story. And the lesson learned is don't put magnet-mounted webcams above anything that's breakable if they fall, because this is not a small or a lightweight webcam. And I didn't think it would come off the magnet, though it had before, and I should have learned that lesson. We also have a poll on the screen tonight. Should I focus more on ATEMs and not on these new products like the RodeCaster Vido, the YoloBox Extreme, Insta360 Link 2 Pro, new webcam in my studio, the Osbot Tiny 3, the UVC adapter with the remote control, and the YoloCam S3. And again, full disclaimer, this was sent to me from YoloLiv, as well as this is the second one they sent me. This does not belong to me, it belongs to them, and I am determined to keep that puppy safe. And then I've talked about some things I've learned, so lessons I've learned. So that's a good marriage tip. Also, I signed up for the consult talk soon. Cool, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, David. Thank you, Tony, I appreciate that. Thank you. Again, going back up here. Ron, I appreciate that. Those of you that haven't met Ron, meet David, meet Tony, there's so many other people here that I've connected with over time. And let me just say this, many of you who have been on the live streams for a long time, as we're wrapping up tonight, thank you so much, Chris. Are you keeping the Extreme? Well, so, man, David, you asked such good questions. Can I just say that my plan was to figure out a way, they're not offering it to me. I figured I would be able to maybe negotiate some kind of discount after I did a bunch of videos. And then I broke it, the first one, and they say the repair for just the screen, the touch screen that cracked and wouldn't work anymore, was $500. So the fact that I don't own it and I may be repairing it, I told Shannon, I really want to purchase it. Our first priority is to pay off our truck. The trailer is paid for, but the truck is not. So that's been our priority. And I did a bunch of extra work using my Black Friday promotion for my consulting, which I did here on the channel, and people took advantage of that. I saved up all that money, and it was for tech. So I would have some things I could do videos on. I was going to purchase something, and I was really looking very seriously at possibly the Core once it was released, or possibly a Tail Air 2, a YoloBox Ultra or Extreme. So I took a wild shot when YoloLiv reached out to me about the YoloCam S3 and wanted me to do a video on it, and they said they would send this to me. I reached out and said, hey, can I get a YoloBox Extreme? I'd love to look at it. I have clients that are considering it. I will, if it's a great device and it solves the problem that some of my clients are looking for, I'll recommend it. I already had a client that had an Ultra. I knew nothing about it. And when she would ask me questions, I did some research and it got me interested. And then I discovered the Extreme release last year. So David, yeah, I really was trying to figure out how to keep that first one. And now that one's on its way to China because that's where they do all the repairs. And so I don't know what it's going to cost to get it fixed. I don't know what the bill is going to be. And then I would have to buy it from them. So to answer that question, I'm now on the fence because of my mistake, my letting it get broken here in the studio. So if you now had a chance to choose one webcam, which would you get? Man, you are, wow. David. I have been very vocal that I like the 3 gimbals, right? So I heard a rumor that one of the web manufacturers, YoloLiv, I think, yeah, YoloLiv, had they have the S7, which is just kind of like a webcam on steroids, with HDMI out and USB-C out, kind of like an ATEM. And they had this blog that came out in January, David, and they said that they were going to release a webcam. I think it was called the P7. So the S7 and then the P7. So I was in conversation with them. And so I sent them a picture of this blog that they released. It was on their blog page, on their channel. And I said, where's this camera? When is this going to be released? Tell me the story about that. I go, because I was already intrigued. Like the Tail Air 2 was very expensive, PTZ camera, NDI. So I thought if they come out with a webcam PTZ with anywhere near the kind of features and the higher end sensor, I would be intrigued. So to be honest with you, I want one of them, the Tiny 3 or the Insta360 Link 2. And I've been very vocal with Insta360 because I bought 2 of these. I bought the Insta360 Link 2 with my own money. My ATEMs, I bought my own money. The only thing that I've ever received from a manufacturer or free so far has been, if I remember right, is YoloLiv said I could, if I decided to do videos, that I could keep the YoloCam S3. So as far as I know, this is mine. They could ask for it and I'll mail it back because that's what I told them. So we haven't actually had the final conversation about do I get to keep it or not keep it. But so I don't know right now. I like the fact with the UVC adapter. So if I had to make a decision today, it would probably be the Tiny 3 for 2 reasons. One, you can HDMI convert it. Though I am intrigued now, it looks like our Rode has done a firmware update and you can bring in the Tiny 3 directly through a USB-C port now. I haven't tested it. I haven't done the firmware update, but that's what was shared tonight in the chat. You can go back and listen to that conversation. So if it was today, I'd probably go with the Tiny 3. I like the ability. I mean, it's pretty intensive. I mean, it's got a lot of features and I'm still on the fence because I'm intrigued by what YoloLiv had put on the back burner in a PTZ camera, P7. It was going to be multiple gimbals. I don't remember if it was going to have 3 because there are other, the Tail and the Tail 2. Tail has 2 gimbals. The tail 2 can flip inside. That's not the same though. That's from going landscape to portrait. And what I loved about this is when you put it up over top and it's not level, it would level like a drone. So this is basically like a drone. And I love 3 gimbals. All of a sudden now, no one's making, that I know of, 3 gimbal webcams. So to be perfectly honest with you, I'd like to be able to remote control it with a handheld remote. I'd like to have 3 gimbals so it makes a better overhead camera. Here's the Tiny 2 overhead right now. And I can use the remote to zoom in and zoom out and pan right and pan left. And I can program this look right here by holding down position 1. I can zoom back out and zoom down and zoom into this. Let me hold down position 3. I should have programmed it. So let me zoom back out and pan right. And now let me hit position 3. There you go. So the fact that I can do all of those things, David, I like the Tiny 3, but it's missing a gimbal. It does have whatever it is, 1/4, 3/4, it's 1/4, I think. Little adapter, not adapter, but hole on the bottom of it. So I don't have to use the magnet mount. It does come with a magnet mount, but you can see this little thing right here. Again, this is the Osbot Tiny 3. I mean, it does similar to the same thing the Insta360 Link 2 and Link 2 Pro does. You can tilt it forward. This has one more ability to tilt. So if you want to get it over and looking straight down on your desk, it's on your monitor, you can bring it all the way out with this. So this would clip on your monitor like this. So this would be the front of your monitor. And so you can have this thing tilt, you know, over like this. So it comes all the way out, and then this just folds all together. And there is no threaded mount here. It's on the Tiny 3 camera. So my Tiny 3 right now is mounted to a friction arm so that I can show it on my desk and I don't have to worry about this falling off the magnet. So that's why I am using it specifically as my desk cam. So I'm sorry, I'm not really giving you an answer, but I would probably hold out for 3 gimbal webcam, but I have plenty of webcams now. Thanks for answering, you're welcome. Just get the tail 2 and the remote, never look back. Yeah, it's expensive and I probably should do that. Carry insurance for your show as if you are a commercial production. This will, yeah. And that's a conversation. My bookkeeper, who's a longtime friend, I've known her since I was a young adult. Her and her husband are longtime friends. She said, aren't they insured? Like, isn't it insured? Like, aren't these companies insuring their products when they send them to you? Again, some of these companies come from other countries. So I've never done this before. So I just looked at her and said, I don't know. I don't carry insurance on these products. And again, if this would be sent to me and they said I could keep it, I would have to do a video on it in order to keep it. Let's say I broke it before I got the video done. It's the same scenario. I am a performance-based human, and I would, if I said I was going to do something, I would do it. And the fact that I just got done shooting all of the footage and I was editing the YoloBox Extreme video, I was excited I was still going to be able to release it, but there had been a couple little things I might have shot that next couple days that had changed in firmware, and I couldn't because now it's broken, and I won't be able to now until I open this one and do it. So I hope that helps. And I'm going to wrap this up at 6 o'clock. Use the process of building a small production company as another premise to your show. You have plenty of testimonials. Yeah, I do. I have clients that I've done consulting with, and they're very gracious. I have clients that I've done video production with, Some of them have done reviews on my Google page. So if you want to Google me, Life Journey Productions. Man, it's got to be at least 78 in here. It's hot. It's like I'm in a sauna. Yeah, 5-star reviews, and they all had an opportunity to do less than that. So I take my responsibility very, very seriously, and I take these relationships with manufacturers serious. So probably getting an insurance, finding out what that would cost for my agent. But then again, you know, does it go up when you have a claim like car insurance? So just read the comments that the RodeCaster now lets you use other cameras. Have you checked it out? No. I do know, David, that came up tonight earlier in the chat. So I was brought up to speed earlier tonight. Trying to remember where that chat is. Here it is. Your Osbot Tiny 3 can finally be connected directly through USB-C with the UVC adapter, I mean, without it, sorry. RCV firmware update. So according to the testing done by David, it works with the Tiny, I think it said the Tiny 3. So David must have or know for sure that it works with the Tiny 3, but David, I have not tested it yet, but we will do that next Sunday, or no, next Tuesday when I'm live, because I'm gonna do the firmware update and I'm gonna test it here in the studio, and I'll demo it next week, and we'll see if, I won't be able to use the remote control because it'll be going directly to the RCV, and it's not a PTZ camera, not networkable, so I don't think the remote control is gonna work. So to be honest with you, I would continue using it through the UVC to HDMI adapter, and the only way I could get, David, the UVC to HDMI adapter to work with this new Tiny 2 remote, it's actually called the Tiny Remote 2, is that they had Osbot had to send me, the technical support had to send me a firmware update. And so with the firmware update and updating the UVC to HDMI 2 adapter, and again, that's right here. Once you update the firmware on their page, it's right here under software, and you download the firmware, you can actually use it with the remote control, and that's what I'm doing right here. I'm using the UVC adapter with the remote control, and all the features seem to be working with no problem. And so here is even the close-up feature, which would be on me. It would give me a close-up, so it's not working right now, but I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can pan and tilt, and I can use the program buttons. So pretty cool that that feature is working now with the UVC to HDMI adapter. So I definitely want those cameras to have a remote control. The Insta360 Link too, and my video's coming out. So, I mean, I have 3 cameras right now. They're Insta360 that I purchased. One that's been sent to me by Insta360, which is the Link 2 Pro. In reality, it has the ability to scan a barcode or QR code, and then you can remote control it from your phone using like a web GUI. And you can change the settings and everything now. So I could change the brightness, I could change the color temperature, I can save presets, I can hit my presets. So again, but that's through the software. So if you're not using it through a Mac or a PC using their software, then that remote won't work. So the only thing right now that I know, if I don't buy a Tail Air 2 or a traditional PTZ camera that has a remote control, like the Tail Air 2, and it's not this remote, I don't think that you can use this remote, but is the Osbot product. So yeah, it's very interesting, the dilemma it has put me under. So, okay. So next week, we're going to talk about that update from RodeCaster Vido, just to remind myself when I watch this back next week. I will put chapter markers in this video. If you have a lesson that you've learned you haven't put in the chat, so you've learned a lesson, you have a channel, and you want to share it with people that are watching this video, the chat does replay, trying to help the YouTube world that tunes into me. Please put that in the chat. There was a on my Facebook page today, Life Journeys Facebook page, I put a video that Peter McKinnon released this week from an interview that he did, kind of a podcast interview with his former editor. They haven't worked together for a year. And I love that story. So I'm not going to put a link in tonight's live stream, but if you follow Peter McKinnon, go over and check out that video. It's a great interview. I watched it in its entirety, and you can see my comment that I put on there. So thank you guys so much for tolerating my getting older talk, my story, and my lesson that I learned about having devices like this in my studio and not being very careful. And thank you, YoloLiv, for sending me out another one that's so gracious and kind to you. It's been an amazing journey so far, and I look forward to future tests and live streams from the YoloBox Extreme, which was my next thing I wanted to do with it before I broke it. I would love to get your feedback in the chat. The poll is going to end right now. I said, should I focus more on ATEMs and not on these new products? There's 23 votes, so over 10 of you, probably basically almost 13 of you, said yes, I should focus more on ATEMs and not on these new products. And 43% of you, probably 10 of you, said no. So if you have not answered this, I think it's a pretty important question. So I'll give you a few more minutes to answer that before we roll out. So any last things you'd like to say? Thank you for the birthday wishes. Again, it's not till June. Thank you for hearing me out about NAB and my upcoming cruise. I hope I'll have some cool video footage to share with you when I get back. I did a coffee montage tonight in the intro video. I built it into my intro video, and I don't have it tonight. I couldn't get it to render onto a SD card for whatever reason and play back in my HyperDeck. But I figured tonight's conversation deserved a real cup in a real coffee cup tonight of coffee, and that's what I'm drinking. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please hit like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Liked this video. If it meant anything to you, please add your comments tonight about lessons that you've learned. I have learned my one lesson, and I've shared some other ones tonight, and there'll be more lessons I'm sure I'll be learning about these products. And I promise you that we'll dive more into the ATEM, the HyperDeck, the streaming bridge, anything that's announced from NAB, which is just weeks away, any announcements from Blackmagic Design, any new updates from Rode on the RodeCaster Vido, which we talked about last week, the new RodeCaster Vido Core, which is a basically box device that integrates the RodeCaster Vido with the RodeCaster Core, links up with the RodeCaster Pro 2 and the RodeCaster Pro Duo. And so use the buttons on those devices, and you can use the audio channels as well. And it is a RodeCaster Vido S type input device. So it's basically the same as the RodeCaster Vido S, with the exception of there are no buttons. There's only one knob, two little lights, and a USB-C port in the front of it. So you could probably rack mount it and then just plug into it or put it in a mobile rig. I'm not sure why they added the front port, but that gives you one extra USB-C port than you get in a RodeCaster Vido S. So we'll be talking more about anything else that pops up. I think I've pretty well rolled the webcam dice, and so I'm probably not going to be talking a lot about webcams, though. The Insta360 Link 2 Pro video that I produced is releasing shortly. So that's all I have. Few more seconds for you to respond to the poll tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for giving up your time. I know it's been quite long. We're going to roll the outro video now. And again, we'll end the poll. 23 votes, 57 yes, 43 no. Yes, I should be focusing more on the ATEMs and less on all these other products. I have heard you, and I will put that in my mental queue as we go forward. And I am going to probably miss one live stream during the cruise week, but I will come back with extra cool stuff to share with you. If you do go to NAB, or you're going to NAB, please let me know in the next couple weeks. I may ask you to check out a few things. So let's talk more about that as NAB gets closer, and that is just a few weeks away in April. And again, thank you so much for your congratulations about my new granddaughter. And when my daughter gives me permission, I will bring some pictures as well. That's what grandpas do. So I'm Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and I'll see you, I hope, in the next video.